In this video, I'm going to make some rocks and stalagmites out of garbage and glue. The main part of both the stalagmites and rocks uses snack bags, which have been washed and dried. For the stalagmites, I'm forming the bag into a rough cone shape and keeping it in that shape with sellotape. I'm making the rocks in a similar manner, except forming the bag into a rough ball. For the base, you can use cardboard or foam board, the latter being better, but isn't always rubbish. Cut a piece slightly bigger than the sellotape piece, beveling the foam board if using that. Then, using hot glue, glue the bulk part to the base. The next part is made from scrap paper. This is a paper bag that was used for produce that I've torn into pieces. For the first layer, I'm going to stick several pieces of paper to the main part of the scatter with hot glue. This can be the most difficult part as it's easy to get hot glue on yourself. You can use PVA, but I've found hot glue at this point gives a better end result. After hot gluing this, I use some PVA and a wet brush to give it a covering. Next, I apply PVA with a wet brush to one side of a piece of paper and stick this onto the scatter. I continue doing this piecemeal, sometimes with pauses to let things dry, and sometimes spreading thin PVA over the entire item and letting it soak in before I add more paper. Once I have added as much paper as I want, I apply a layer of PVA with a wet brush to the outside and leave it to dry. The end result is surprisingly solid. Next, I paint the entire item with black acrylic paint. Then I give it a coating with grey acrylic paint, adding another layer if needed. I then gave it a heavier dry brush with a lighter grey, which I appear to have not recorded, and then a dry brush with white. An alternative colour scheme was to use burnt umber, followed by burnt sienna, and then a dry brush with white again. Again, I seem to have forgotten to record that last bit. Finally, I cover the entire item with Black Magic Crafts homemade basic black wash. See the linked video. Before adding the final dry brush, to add some extra depth to the colour, I sometimes dab on colours such as red and green with a torn off piece of sponge. You can make the stalagmites in different sizes. And you can do the same with the rocks too. The shape of the rocks can be altered, and a couple of bags of different sizes glued next to each other give the rocks a more irregular shape. A standing stone can be done with a more column-like shape. The finished items can be used as scatter as is, or they can be glued to something larger. Want to help support the channel? Then please like, comment, subscribe, share, join our Patreon, or buying through the Amazon or drive-thru links below helps support the channel at no cost to you.